Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in today, because today I truly have a special guest. Today, I have an exclusive interview with a former WWE superstar, a model, fitness coach, and actress, whom is the star of the new film Hard to Kill, brought to you by Vertical Entertainment, which is in select theaters because COVID, but nonetheless is available on video on demand today. So you can watch it today. I've seen it a couple of weeks ago, but now you can watch it. Natalie Eva Marie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on.
Not a problem at all. Now, I have got to say, with the pandemic and the world being on lockdown, you have surely been staying busy and active. I'll just go off the record and say business has been booming for you, and you've been growing your personal brand, and you've had your hand in a few pots. Would you kind of say that the pandemic is kind of molded for somebody like you?
Yes and no. Obviously, it's one of those things, being stuck at home, your mind is going a mile a minute. So the things that I can do, that I have control over, I'm going to go full speed ahead and take advantage of that time at home and kind of, try to grow the Natalie Eva Marie brand as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think I tell everybody I talk to, I think right now is a really defining moment for people, either reaching your inner happiness or you're just going creative crazy. And that's obviously what you've been doing, because yes, you've been growing your NIM Fit brand, your NIM fashion brand, your YouTube series. You have the new upcoming show, Paradise City, which I cannot wait to see, and Faces and Heels, which I've been enjoying. So like, you literally have just made 2020 yours, when 2020, a lot of people have suffered and kind of tapped in for 2020, but you absolutely have been flourishing this year. So, definitely kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about Sasha, your character in Hard to Kill, who is a complete badass and well-respected amongst her peers and not one to be messed with. Your first scene in there, they're just like, well, just the trolling action, but obviously they're just like, yeah, you don't mess with her. Along with the gunfight scenes, which I truly enjoyed. And not to mention when you go into the trance, into the one scene where you're just locked in and you just put everything else to the side and you're marking your target, you're hitting your shots, which was just a really powerful scene for so many different reasons. But, oh, and not to mention too, you are your brother's keeper in this film. So I have to ask, how much of your own personal influence went into this role? Like, because it seems like it's a match made in heaven for you. From everything I know about you, it just seems like, hey, this is you taken to the next level.
You know what? For sure. I am the youngest of all boys. So being, the only female of my squad was definitely one of those things that I just kind of felt was so just a part of who I am anyways. But on top of that, I come from a military family. My dad's a Vietnam veteran. He was a Marine, and then my brother-in-law is currently serving right now overseas for the Army. And this role was just something that I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to just bring these guys, our servicemen and women, like, I want to make them proud. So I got lucky enough to train with ex-Delta Force, shout out to James Fleming, to show me the ropes, the real deal of weapon training, because I think it's so important. There's nothing worse, than watching an action film and seeing just misuse of firearms. And I just wanted to be as prepared as possible once I got to the set. And, that was really the highlight of preparing for Sasha. Big time.
That is awesome. And I have got to mention the one thing I love about any form of media, whether it's television or movies, when you're featuring characters who have military backgrounds, I always and head over heels over the camaraderie amongst them, because we see it in our day and in our everyday walking, that brotherhood that they have. Was that something also that you wanted to make sure, which was important here? Because again, from your background and from your family and how much you just really appreciate for the military and armed forces, was that something that you wanted to make sure, no matter if it was in the script or not, but you wanted to make sure that there was a lot of emphasis on that? And I thought like that bar scene was so authentic there, and I was just like, oh, I know she's loving this right now. But yeah, when you was that something you also wanted to make sure that there was a lot of emphasis on?
Oh, for sure, because these guys are teamwork makes the dream work, but also when these guys are out on the field, they have each other's back because it's life or death.
Yeah.
And so you have to have, as much as you're gonna go at it like a normal brother sister type of relationship, when it really comes down to it, you're family. And you're each one of them, I wanted to make sure it was you'll take a bullet for one another. So that was really important to try to portray throughout the whole film as well, and kind of carry that to the end.
Yeah. Was there anybody that was involved with this film that was ex-military, as far as with the production crew? Because another thing I thought was really interesting, and I always think it's a really delicate thing, unless there's somebody that is either going through it, been through it, or just has an authentic touch on this, and that's the PTSD that your character kind of deals with a little bit, and that the main character deals with. But like, what was it kind of like dealing with those conventions in this movie?
It was really difficult, because I mean, even with my my own dad, it's really difficult to have him talk about even being in the Vietnam War. So and then being able to train with ex-Delta Force and try to soak up as much of kind of their experiences. It's one of those things that a lot of military men and women, they go through on a day-to-day basis, and it kind of creeps up, and that's why some don't want to talk about it at all, or don't want to talk about their experience whatsoever, because they're just trying to kind of bury it down. So on set, the guys, the closest that we had was we had a couple guys from SWAT, and that was the closest thing as far as someone being there every day, kind of helping anybody out that needed a little extra kind of depth into whatever scene we were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was really special that your character kind of explored these conventions, because you have been very adamant about mental health for the longest. And I think that, as far as for me, when you're casting somebody that has that role, you want somebody that's either an advocate for going through it, and it just brings another level of authenticity. And I really do love that scene, when your brother Harrison is, I think, is killed, and then you instantly snap into this trance, and it's a really powerful scene. It's tons of good action, but when you look deeper into it, like, that speaks so many volumes as to like how that works and so on. So but I really did love that scene. So let's talk about the elephant in the room here, and that's no other than Bruce Willis. Now, undoubtedly, you've been in circles, and you've definitely been surrounded by, in the company of, all types of celebrities and icons, but there is absolutely no other Bruce Willis in the world. Can you talk about working out alongside of him? And is there any funny on-set, off-camera moments that you may be able to share with the iconic Bruce Willis?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Literally, it was one of those things where I'm like, I still, even doing this, talking with you, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am in a Bruce Willis film, because does not matter your age, who Bruce Willis is. And obviously the fact that I got to do an action film as well, it's just kind of mind-blowing. As far as anything, and I had to keep it together on set the first time I even met him, and then obviously, in our scenes together. I'd be lying if I said at moments I was catching myself being like, oh my goodness, this is Bruce Willis, but I kept it together, super professional. At times I did want to have him repeat some of his famous, lines from, Die Hard is one of my favorite movies. So, but I didn't, I played it cool. And, I soaked up everything that he had, any advice and stuff like that, he was giving out. So, as far as anything funny, I can't say that there really was, because it was so cold in Ohio that everybody was just trying to film and then also stay warm.
Yeah, get through the day. Yeah, you filmed in January, I believe this was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get through the day. And thank God you all were able to get this done before everything got shut down.
Know. It really, honestly, we are so lucky because it was literally 2 weeks prior to everything kind of getting shut down.
Yeah.
And boy, like you said, we're super lucky.
I absolutely have to pitch the idea of seeing you in more action films. And I also got to pitch the idea that I wouldn't mind seeing Jonathan in some action films.
Okay.
I know he got the gun, the weapons training too. So, you know, there's some magic in there that can have you two on set for a film. I would all be all for it, you know?
Oh, trust me. He's going to love this. This is going to be his favorite interview.
Hey man, look, it's crazy things are happening in 2020. He never know. He may be getting a call right now.
There you go.
Put it in the air and it'll happen.
Like it.
Yeah. So before you go, you know, you have never been shy about always wanting to challenge yourself, push yourself to the next limit. What's really the next mountain for you to climb? What's your upcoming projects? What are you indulging in next? And I know you're gonna have at least 10 things you can tell me, 20 things you can't tell me. But what are they? What's going on now?
You know what? I'm really excited for Paradise City, which is a TV series that's completely finished. I really just because
the world is waiting.
Yes.
The world is waiting.
I really cannot wait for everyone to see it just because not only did I have a great time doing it, but I totally can play an entirely different character than anyone has seen thus far. And I want to continue that as well. So more TV, more film. Obviously, NemFit and my fitness program is really something just like really super important to me because health is wealth. Anybody that watched Total Divas, you guys have seen me go through that with my own family, my dad. And then I really want to continue to spread the message because I do work a 12-step program. I'm in recovery. And kind of breaking that stigma out there for men and women that, you know, sobriety isn't something to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool to be sober and to not be scared to reach out, ask for help. And, you know, your life, even though at the moment or at that time you think it's you're kind of hopeless, but you're not. And I definitely am living proof of that for sure.
Absolutely. I got to just say that, you know, even with your stint in WWE, I was a fan, but you taking that stance and not being shy about, you know, battling sobriety and so on, just took it to the next level because, and I'm pretty sure you're the same, but we lost a lot of good people because they were scared to look for help. They were scared to admit they had an issue, and seeing somebody of your figure be able to stand on your platform and talk about that and deal with that, I just thought was just light years amazing. Like I was just like really moved, and you know, and I'm pretty sure you've got a lot of outreach and other people saying how you may have saved their life just by being able to do so. Because I think it's so powerful saying that, you know, it's nothing wrong with saying that you're going through something, and that's, you know, it's just a powerful movement in its own alongside of everything else you got going on.
Oh, thank you so much. That means everything.
Not a problem. You keep pushing. So I got to make my pitch here now.
Okay.
Now, I know you got a lot of things going on, but I have got to say, outside of action films, I would love to see you call up the homie Dwayne Johnson. What's up with them Titan games? That is the perfect fit for you. You know I'm not lying. I know you thought about it. Titan Games Season 3. That would be an amazing fit for you.
Hey, you never know. 2020 is clearly things are happening that, you know, we're moving and shaking over here.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Yep. Hard to Kill 2. Let's bring it back.
There we go.
Yeah. And lastly, possible return to wrestling?
Oh, 100%. I mean, WWE is my first love. They got me to where I'm at today. They have fully prepared me. I feel like anybody that is in the WWE is prepared for literally life.
Yes.
In general, because they're savages. I mean, they're on the road 290 days out of the year. You have to handle the physicality. You're creating your character, and then you're performing in front of a live audience. Plus, that's my home. That's my family. Vince, Steph, and Hunter, you know, they took a chance on some nobody kid. And I'm sitting here talking to you about a film with Bruce Willis that I'm in that drops today. I mean, so, you know, if Vince picks up the phone and says, hey, this is the time.
Yeah.
You tell me when, and I'm there.
Yeah, I would love it. I would love it. But again, as always, you know, thank you so much for what you're doing for society, as far as with your brands, giving back to people, being motivation and an icon for others. And, you know, especially with how strange 2020 has been, you've been locked in, even more focused, continue to grow your brand, putting out an amazing movie where you just kick ass. I can't stress again. Hard Kill is available today, folks. If you're like to see it in the theaters, then that's amazing. Unlike I couldn't, but unfortunately for the rest of us who can't see it in the theater, it is available now today on video on demand. You can see Natalie Eva Marie kick ass as Sasha in there, and it's an amazing film. You want to check it out. So again, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today. Much more success for 2020, and I'll be seeing you soon.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.